You wake up one day and realize that your working years are over. You look at your pension and your retirement savings, and you start to wonder how to take money out in the smartest way possible. You want to enjoy your retirement without running out of money. You want to avoid big tax bills. You want peace of mind. So you ask yourself, what is the smart way to take money out of retirement accounts when you already have a pension? In this video, we are going to explain this in very simple English so anyone can understand it. We will talk about how retirement accounts work, how pensions fit into the picture, and how you can take money out in a way that protects your savings and minimizes taxes. If you want to make your retirement money last longer, stay with me. First, let's think about what a pension is. A pension is a steady income that you get every month once you retire. This income continues for the rest of your life in many cases. Some pensions also provide income for your spouse if you pass away. This is one of the safest parts of your retirement plan because you know exactly how much you will receive. A pension acts like a monthly paycheck, but instead of from a boss, it comes from your retirement plan. But a pension is not the only part of your retirement. Most people also save money in retirement accounts like IRAs or 401ks. Some people have other savings too, like investment accounts or tax-free accounts such as Roth IRAs. These accounts hold money that you saved during your working years. You might have plenty in these accounts, or you might have just enough to feel comfortable. The important question becomes this: when should you start taking money out of these accounts and how? One main rule to understand is that each of these accounts may be taxed differently when you take money out. Your pension is usually counted as income and is taxed according to your income tax rate. For tax-deferred accounts like traditional IRAs or 401ks, withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income because you did not pay tax on this money when you put it in. When you withdraw, the government wants to tax it at your current tax rate. This is important to understand because if you take too much in one year, you could push yourself into a higher tax bracket and owe more tax than you expect. Then you have Roth accounts. These accounts are special. You already paid tax on the money going into them, so you don't pay tax when you take money out in retirement, as long as you follow the rules. This means that taking money from a Roth account does not increase your taxable income. For people with a pension and other income, Roth accounts can be a powerful tool to control your taxes. Now, let's talk about the order in which you might take money out. Many experts suggest a smart sequence to make your retirement savings last longer and reduce taxes. One common approach is to start by taking money from accounts that are taxed first and save the tax-free money for later when you might need it more. For example, you might take money from taxable accounts first, such as investment accounts that you have outside of your retirement plans. These accounts may have tax on capital gains, but they might still be better to tap early instead of withdrawing from tax-deferred accounts that would push you into higher tax brackets. Once you've used taxable accounts for your short-term needs, you might move on to your tax-deferred accounts, such as a traditional IRA or 401k. But here's the thing. If you have a pension that already gives you enough income for your basic expenses, you may not need to take a lot from your tax-deferred accounts right away. By delaying these withdrawals, you let your money continue to grow tax-deferred for a longer time. But you need to be careful because at a certain age, the rules require you to take money out. These are called required minimum distributions, or RMDs. Required minimum distributions are amounts that you are required by law to withdraw from your traditional retirement accounts once you reach a certain age. In the United States, this age is currently 73 for most people and will move to 75 for some in the future. If you fail to take these minimum amounts, you could pay large penalties. So even if you don't need the money, you have to take at least the minimum required amount. This can affect your taxes because RMDs count as taxable income. That means when you take your RMD, your income may be higher that year, which could push you into a higher tax bracket. Now, what about your Roth accounts? Because qualified Roth IRA withdrawals are tax-free and they are not subject to RMDs during your lifetime, many people save their Roth money for later in retirement, when their needs may increase, or when they want to pay less tax overall. But each person's situation is different, and it's good to plan ahead rather than wait until a crisis. Now, let's talk about one simple strategy that many financial planners use. It's called proportional withdrawals. The idea is that each year you withdraw money from all your accounts in proportion to how much you have in each one. So, if your total retirement savings are made up of 40% taxable money, 50% tax-deferred money, and 10% Roth money, then each year you would withdraw the same proportions from each account to meet your income needs. This approach helps spread your tax burden more evenly over time, rather than depleting one account too fast and leaving yourself vulnerable later. This kind of proportional withdrawal can reduce the total taxes you pay over the course of your retirement. When you withdraw from only one type of account, you may end up paying more taxes in some years and less in others. But by spreading out withdrawals, you avoid big spikes in taxable income. If you can control your taxable income, you can often keep yourself in a lower tax bracket and pay less in taxes. But remember, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Your situation depends on how much income your pension gives you, how much you have in savings, your expected lifespan, and what your expenses are. Some people need more money early in retirement because they want to travel, help family, or pay off debt. Others want to delay taking Social Security or other benefits to let them grow. Each choice affects your taxes and how long your money lasts. Let's talk about timing. When you decide to start taking money from your retirement accounts can make a big difference. If you take money too early from tax-deferred accounts and before you're 59 and a half, you could face a penalty in addition to regular income tax. The government imposes a 10% tax on early withdrawals from many retirement accounts if you take money out before age 59 and a half, on top of the regular income tax. So for many people, it makes sense to delay large withdrawals from tax-deferred accounts until you are older than 59 and a half. Another point to think about is your overall tax bracket. If you have a pension that gives you steady income, adding large withdrawals from your retirement accounts could push your total income into a higher tax bracket. That means you pay more tax on each dollar you take out. So, if you can take smaller amounts over time and stay in a lower tax bracket, you could save a lot of money. One way to do this is to take money from tax-deferred accounts before RMDs are required. By doing this gradually, you spread your taxable income over more years. It may sound odd to take money earlier than required, but this strategy can reduce your lifetime taxes because you manage your tax brackets more efficiently. Now, let's think about flexibility. If you have a Roth IRA, you have flexibility because you can take tax-free money without affecting your taxable income. Some retirees delay using these accounts until later in retirement, when their income is higher and they want to avoid pushing themselves into a higher tax bracket. Others use Roth money earlier to cover large expenses without paying extra taxes. The right choice depends on your needs and goals. You might be wondering about other types of strategies. There are systematic withdrawal plans, where you decide to take a fixed amount of money at regular intervals, like every month or every year. This helps you budget because you know exactly how much you will receive and can plan your expenses around it. Some people like this predictability because it feels more like a paycheck. Another approach is known as the bucket strategy. With this strategy, you divide your retirement savings into different buckets based on when you will need the money. The first bucket holds money you will need in the next few years. The second bucket holds money for the medium term, and the third bucket holds money for long-term needs. The idea is that you protect the money you will need soon by keeping it in safer investments, while the money you won't need for many years can stay invested for growth. This helps you avoid selling investments at a loss during market downturns and can give you peace of mind. Now, let's talk more about taxes again, because it's one of the most important parts of taking money out of retirement accounts. If you do not plan your withdrawals, you could owe a big amount in taxes without realizing it.
One common mistake is taking too much from your tax-deferred accounts in one year. Because these withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income, taking large sums at once could push you into a higher tax bracket. That means you pay a higher percentage of tax on each dollar above the bracket limit. So, if you can take smaller amounts over time and stay in a lower tax bracket, you could save a lot of money. One way to do this is to take money from tax-deferred accounts before RMDs are required. By doing this gradually, you spread your taxable income over more years. It may sound odd to take money earlier than required, but this strategy can reduce your lifetime taxes because you manage your tax brackets more efficiently. Now, let's think about flexibility. If you have a Roth IRA, you have flexibility because you can take tax-free money without affecting your taxable income. Some retirees delay using these accounts until later